Hey everyone, welcome back to Once Upon a Cheerio. I'm Julie, and today I am so excited to show you how to crochet these beautiful wisteria flower strands. If you've ever wanted to add a touch of whimsical garden magic to your space, or maybe just love the look of cascading flowers, then this garland is for you. Each flower strand is actually made with one continuous spiral. That means that there's no sewing involved. So let's get started. So I'm going to show you how I crochet my long wisteria strands. I start off with a really long chain. The chain can be anywhere from 60 to 80. I usually keep mine between 60 and 70, but right here I have a chain of 63. It's just a random number that I chose between 60 and 70. So how we're going to start is that we are going to start by putting a slip stitch into the fourth chain from the hook. So that would be this one right here. I'm going to put in a slip stitch, which is where I pull up a loop and then I pull that loop through the working loop that I already had on my hook. So that would make the first slip stitch. Once I finish that, I'm going to make chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to make another slip stitch, but in the next chain. Then I'm going to do again 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch in the next chain. And I'm going to do this about maybe 2 or 3 times. So that I would have a total of 3 to 4 petals of the 3 chains. So I will make this one my last one here. Then I'm going to increase my chain count. So I'm going to make 4 chains now. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I am going to make a slip stitch in the next chain. And I'm going to do this about, 3 to 4 times again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then slip stitch into the next chain. There's no exact count or exact science to doing this. It's just however much you feel like. And that's the beauty of this pattern, is because, you kind of want to make each strand just slightly different and not all the exact same, so that it looks a little bit more natural. Okay, so that's enough for the chains of 4s now, and you can see that there's a bit of a curl to this too, so that's looking pretty nice. I'm going to now increase my chain counts. So I'm going to make chains of 5s now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the next chain here. And then I'm going to again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this time, instead of slip stitching into the next chain, I am going to slip stitch it into the same chain. So then I'm putting basically 2 petals in that same chain. And now I'm going to do the same thing for the next one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the next chain now. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then again into the same chain. So again, like I said, we're doing this twice in each chain now. So we're going to do this for however many long you think is appropriate. Again, there's no exact science to it. This pattern is very, very freestyle. I did a good number of chains of 5s, so I'm going to leave it at that. I still have a really long chain to go, but I do want to slowly increase it. The next one that I'm going to do is the same thing, but we're going to do it with chains of 6. So again, we're going to slip stitch it into the next chain here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then slip stitch it into the same chain. And then we're gonna do this, you know, partially up until you feel like, you know, you're ready to increase to chains of 7s. As you're working your chains, you'll notice that sometimes your flower might end up like this, and this is very normal because you are working along that foundation chain. So how you're going to correct this is that you're simply going to twirl it so that it curls in the natural position as all the other ones. So, and then that's how you fix it. That's all you need to do. So that's a good number of chain 6s, I feel now. So I'm going to now increase it to chains of 7s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm gonna slip stitch into the next chain here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slip stitch into the same chain. And I'm gonna do this only a couple of times, and I will share with you why I do that in a second. Let me just finish a couple more and then I will come back. Okay, so I did the chains of 7s only for a few of them until it goes all the way around once. But now I am going to still chain 7, but instead of slip stitching into the next stitch, I'm going to make a single crochet instead. So I'm going to single crochet into that next chain here, like that. So now I'm going to make another chain of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to again single crochet into that same stitch. So now basically instead of slip stitching in twice into that same chain, I am going to single crochet into that same chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now that I have 2 on here, I'm going to make it onto the next chain. So that's the first one, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to single crochet again into the same chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, into the chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, into the same chain. And then, you know, you can do this all the way up until you reach the end of the chain if you want. You can do this and increase to 8 chains if you want. It's all up to you because again, this is a very freestyle crochet pattern. So every now and then you might encounter the situation where you have like a really big chain space in there. If you can fit in another single crochet in there, go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you might single crochet into the same chain a third time. There's no rule against that, and it might even make your wisteria a little bit more full. I wouldn't do 3 single crochets all the way up because I think the curl might be a bit too much, but every now and then if you want to add like a third single crochet into your chain, that is completely acceptable. So the reason why I single crochet now into the chain instead of slip stitching like the rest of them is because if you were to slip stitch just like how you were doing down here, as you increase the number of chains that you use for your petal, it will create a larger gap between these layers, and it just doesn't look very nice. And I wanted it to be a little bit more full and voluminous, so which is why I do need this foundation chain to curl even when I get to chain like the chain petal of like 7 or 8s. And to do that, you know, sometimes it would require the single crochets, and then other times it would require like 3 single crochets into each chain instead of just the 2. And yeah, This is just what I figured out when I was making this. So you can just continue the pattern of chaining 7s and then single crocheting it onto the foundation chain, or you can increase up to chain 8s if you have like a longer wisteria strand, but you will end up with something like this. So I've made them in different colors. I have them in shades of purple, and then I've also have them in shades of pink. So I could have 2 different wisteria strands if I wanted to, or I could combine them all into the same one. I think having 2 might look nice when they're different colors. I have so far like 8 strands, 7 to 8 strands of every color or so. I did also start working on the foliage, which are the leaves right here. This one right here is really like one long strand right now. I did make them in smaller strands. They're downstairs. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to continue making them in little small strands, just because I don't know like how long my garland is end up going to be, etc. So I thought that maybe I would just make it in one long strand, and then this way it'll give me some flexibility to curl it however I want to, or layer it on, because as you can see, if I have like 2 layers looking like this, it actually looks pretty nice. So with this tutorial, I'm hoping that you can get started on your wisteria garland while I'm also still working on mine, and hopefully one day I will get to show you what mine looks like and I'll get to see yours too. If you like the content that I'm putting out, I really hope that you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you next time for more crochet fun. Bye!